Saturday Night Live is generating viral attention after Weekend Update hosts Colin Jost and Michael Che delivered a string of dark political jokes that left the audience groaning, laughing, and sometimes visibly uncomfortable. And the biggest reaction of the night came from a punchline involving Jeffrey Epstein. During the Weekend Update segment, Jost referenced the recent release of Epstein's suicide note, which had been made public by a federal judge earlier in the week. In the note, Epstein allegedly wrote, "What you want me to do? Bust out crying? No fun, not worth it." Jost pointed out that the line appeared to reference the 1994 family comedy The Little Rascals, and then came the dark punchline that immediately stunned the crowd. Jost said, "And I think this note is real because Little Rascals were Epstein's type." The audience instantly erupted into a mix of laughter, gasps, and loud groans. Even Jost himself appeared amused by how uncomfortable the reaction became, while Che visibly laughed beside him at the desk. The Epstein punchline was not the only controversial moment during the segment. Michael Che also triggered groans after turning his attention toward Kash Patel. Che referenced reports claiming Patel had been handing out personalized whiskey bottles to FBI staff, a real story that recently drew media attention. Then Che delivered his punchline, "Kash Patel whiskey, so strong you won't be able to see straight." At that point, SNL displayed Patel's official White House portrait on screen, focusing on what Che mocked as the FBI director's unusually wide and unfocused stare. The latest episode of the late-night comedy show marked the return of Matt Damon as Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, Kavanaugh. The cold open featured a bar scene in which U.S. President Donald Trump's top allies were brutally roasted. Saturday Night Live returned with fiery aim at the Trump world. The show revived one of its most infamous political impressions of the last decade. During the May 9 episode, hosted by Matt Damon, the late-night comedy show brought Damon back as Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, Brett Kavanaugh, in a chaotic political cold open packed with Pete Hegseth and Kash Patel drinking jokes, Trump administration parodies, and callbacks to Damon's now iconic 2018 performance. And almost instantly, the internet exploded with reactions. The sketch opened inside a Georgetown bar, where Colin Jost portrayed a parody version of U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Jost's version of Hegseth joked about drinking a shot of beer with a pint of whiskey, immediately setting the tone for the sketch's alcohol-fueled humor. Then came Damon's dramatic entrance as Kavanaugh. The Oscar-winning actor originally became a viral sensation back in 2018 when he unexpectedly appeared on SNL to parody Kavanaugh during the Supreme Court confirmation hearings, a performance that many viewers still consider one of the show's most memorable political cold opens. This time, Damon leaned heavily into the same chaotic energy that made the original sketch famous. At one point, his Kavanaugh character joked that he had failed a sobriety drawing test because he couldn't make a circle. Jost then mocked the situation further by sarcastically reassuring him, "At least you knew it was a shape." The sketch continued spiraling into absurdity as the fake Hegseth character worried that the Iran war might end soon, prompting Damon's Kavanaugh to dramatically declare, "You know what the real war is? The war against male loneliness." That line immediately triggered waves of reactions online. But the chaos escalated further once Aziz Ansari entered the scene as FBI Director Kash Patel. Ansari burst into the sketch yelling, "Does this bar take cash?" The line instantly became one of the night's most quoted moments across social media. The fake Kash Patel character then revealed he had brought his own alcohol into the bar, joking that he had launched his own FBI Bourbon. Ansari's character hilariously insisted the bourbon was somehow a real thing, created by the real FBI director, while also joking that bartenders often mistake him for a teenager using a fake ID. At one point, Ansari widened his eyes and puckered his lips to mock what he described as his official government photo. As the sketch became increasingly ridiculous, Damon's Kavanaugh character lamented that he no longer had drinking buddies inside the administration and wished there were more people who could really hang. The segment eventually ended with all three characters drunkenly singing Tubthumping by Chumbawamba, specifically the famous lyrics, "I get knocked down, but I get up again." Unsurprisingly, the sketch immediately triggered political reactions online. Supporters of the Trump administration accused SNL of once again obsessively targeting conservative figures while giving liberal politicians easier treatment. Critics of Trump, meanwhile, celebrated the sketch as a brutal takedown of what they see as a chaotic culture surrounding some high-profile administration figures. Others simply focused on Damon's return itself, with longtime SNL viewers nostalgic over his original 2018 Kavanaugh impression. The latest sketch continued SNL's long-running tradition of aggressively satirizing presidential administrations, particularly during moments of intense political polarization. And despite constant criticism from conservative audiences, the show has repeatedly leaned into controversial political humor as a core part of its identity. This newest episode was no exception. The cold open arrived just weeks after the show faced backlash for jokes involving the White House Correspondents' Dinner and other politically sensitive topics. Still, SNL appears completely comfortable continuing to provoke reactions from both sides of the political spectrum.